And all of these people are getting named in this letter. And there were so many people, and all of these folks that we've talked about here are the very same people that Paul in his letter addresses as the saints of Corinth. It makes you wonder what Paul thought the sinners of Corinth looked like. And they were all in the room, and there was more than that besides. There were married people who looked down on single people, and single people who looked down on married people, and there were widows, and there were children, and there were Gentiles, and there were Jews, and there were men of great learning and education, and there were women who had not even been permitted to learn how to spell their own name, and there were poor people, and there were rich people, and there were Roman people, and there were people who had been persecuted by Rome, and there were people with all kinds of backgrounds and opinions and perspectives. And to all these people, with all these problems and all this sin and all this conflict and all this mess, to these great and terrible gathering of the saints, Paul wrote the very letter that we have been reading 2,000 years later for the past 2 months. And so all the things we've read and all the things that we've learned about and all the things we've held at arm's length because this happened to people long ago, all of those things were for the very first time being read in the very room that those people were still sitting in, uncomfortably in a space much smaller than this one. That's what it was like. That's what was happening in that room on that spring day of 55 AD. And if it were to happen again today, it would look something like conservatives and liberals, Democrats and Republicans, white people and black people and Hispanic people and Asian people and Native people, and straight people and LGBTQ people, and rich people and poor people, and sinners and saints, and good and bad, and everything in between, all sitting in the same space. And to those people in a room like that, Paul writes what we are finally prepared to hear.